With the way rap was developing, it was going to inevitably go into the mainstream. This eruption of rap scene took place in the mid to late 1980s. This led to lyrics reaching a bigger audience. All this new attention came with its pros and cons. The pros being getting a larger audience and having people aware of all the injustice African Americans deal with, allows more people to protest it. However, all this attention also brings attention from the police. This is really bad for them because when they are constantly talking about how much they hate the police, as seen in the song "Fuck the Police" by the NWA, they make the police angry, and this leads to them to start projecting their anger on innocent civilians whose only crime was being a black man in a racist America. All this violence towards black community by the police made people frustrated and angry, and many people use rap as a form of protest. But it wasn't just a peaceful protest. There were death threats made to many police officers by rappers and vice versa. This started a shift from rap being more low-key and mellow, with African Americans to express their struggles, to becoming more gangster, aggressive, and some might even say violent. This change was spearheaded by the little group called NWA, who created a gangster rap, and the rappers who continued the group's legacy, such as Tupac and Biggie. Now that we know what happened, let's dissect a little bit and let's look into what happened. Let's start off with what caused the creation of the song "Fuck the Police." Rodney King was an African American attacked by the police, and this was seen in an article written by History.com. The violent beating by police officers invoked riots throughout the nation, specifically in LA. The Aquita's touched the LA riots and arson, looting, murder, and assault in the city grew into the most destructive U.S. civil disturbance of the 20th century. In three days of violence, more than 6 people were killed and more than 2,000 were injured. This uproar caused rap group NWA to make the song "Fuck the Police." This song, as Rolling Stones put it, became the perfect protest song. This is because it perfectly encapsulates the anger and fear that African Americans had towards the police departments. After this song and many more like it, you would like to believe the murder in the hands of the police officers calmed down a little, but you would sadly be mistaken, because an article released by OKPlayer.com shows us countless other victims of the police. The murders of Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Oscar Grant, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland, Jenny McDowell, and countless others at the hand of police officers have sent hip hop community into rage. All this murder made the hatred for the police to grow, and as rap lyrics got more and more violent, the federal behavioral investigation started to take notice, especially after seeing much threats being made towards police departments. The FBI narrowed their investigation on one group, as you guys might guess, the NWA. The FBI chose to send a letter to the NWA. However, their song seemed to have threats being made at the expense of police departments. But even though this letter didn't seem like a big deal, an article written by Alvarez tells us a different story. The FBI decision to write such letter actually worsened attitudes among minorities, because it showed that the government will censor any form of personal expression. It created an us versus them feeling among many people. Now tensions are through the roof because everyone saw this letter as a big attack to rap, and as sad as it is to say stuff like this stuff like this still continues in the form of a rap task force, and that's something that the homeboy Sanchez will go over in section 4.
Facts about rap that I find interesting is the idea that they came up with making mumble rap and rap that you can actually understand. The difference between gibberish rap and rap that you can actually understand is that in gibberish rap, they're just saying whatever and mumbling lyrics, and rappers that actually take their time writing and saying their lyrics and not just mumbling the whole time. For example, a rapper that actually uses mumble rap is Eminem, and rappers that actually take their time on their lyrics are Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Eminem's style of rapping is rapping off fast and just saying random words. Some people can't even understand what he's saying because that's how fast he's rapping. These different styles of rap have an interesting history. The main thing that everyone knows is that this style of rap came from the South and eventually spread to such hotspots as New York and Chicago. Rap in general has an early beginning. Thousands of years ago in Africa, griots were village storytellers, played basic handmade instruments while they told stories of their family and local current events. The griots would sing while they told stories. One person would start a lyric and all the other griots would have to remember their own lyric and sing it. DJ Kool Herc wanted to keep rap alive by saying his first line and his first bar on the mic and hyping up instead of just playing a song by another artist. Within the next few years, DJs and rappers were popping up at every block party to showcase their talent, but recording companies considered rap music a fad and were not compelled to invest into it. Rap music finally reached mainstream recognition in 1979. In conclusion, rap first started in Africa in the villages, then it transferred to the South, and now it has become an everyday thing and famous now.
Rap first originated back in the 1970s to express the struggles of African Americans. Rap was first started as something small and eventually grew into a big music scene. Of course, the rap community was becoming more famous as they talked about their struggles, and police brutality grew, as well as the rap scene, such as NWA, the rap group NWA, created these songs to directly attack the system of police departments. Today, rappers are still being attacked for such music that represents daily life as being an African American. Artists such as Kendrick Lamar have become a big part of the rap community and a part of the BLM community, as well as the protests, making songs reaching millions and being heard for being an African American influencer. He specializes in making poetic songs and writing intricate lyrics about events that have occurred in his past regarding gang violence, police brutality, Black Lives Matter, self-reflection, and many more controversial topics that many artists would avoid. Songs like Alright, Kendrick Lamar influenced a profound amount of African American people due to his new release song. At this point, police brutality was increasing and many wanted it to stop. Police brutality had to come to an end. 14-year-old boy being harassed by police officers was arrested for containing alcohol. The mother demanded that they release her boy. Surprisingly, he was released, and in which many chanted the chorus to Kendrick Lamar recently released song Alright, saying, "We gon' be alright, we gon' be alright." The song Alright was inspired throughout Lamar's trip to South Africa, where he witnessed extreme poverty and lack of food. Lamar's trip to Africa really opened his eyes, in which he was motivated to make this album, To Pimp a Butterfly. He saw connections with life in Compton and life in Africa, which blended all together. These connections were extreme in all the circumstances of places that uphold poverty. It wasn't only a song for many, but it was something more deep than that. It was more hope that life would be easier for people, for African Americans. Kendrick has always been an open artist, not afraid to speak the truth, and that's what makes him Kendrick Lamar. Things have changed, but they also haven't. At the 58th Annual Grammy Awards on Monday, the activist rapper Kendrick Lamar will be the most nominated artist across all categories, and his work on To Pimp a Butterfly is in contention for the biggest awards of the night. But the Grammys' relationship with rap has progressed in fits and states, with the awards often going to the anodyne. Most recently in 2014, when the white rapper Macklemore won in 3 of the 4 current rap categories over Lamar. Last year, the televised ceremony featured no rap awards for the first time in 25 years. Lamar's impact on hip-hop even grew more, famously rapping about being humble on Damn, the album that earned him bragging rights as the first rapper to win the Pulitzer Prize for music. Lamar became the artist that reflected the times and the social change that needed to happen. the thing that makes Kendrick so influential is his poetic of songs and lyrics, a huge role many say in the hip hop industry. Lamar's wisdom extends beyond the mic. He is a philosophical evangelic who uses his everyday power to make a positive change in this recursive world. That is all.
So my name is Luis. You probably already know. So hopefully you got what my peers were trying to say. That rap is very that rap has a historical reason as to why it's so intertwined with its society and how African American culture goes hand in hand with sort of rap and music. Yeah, rap is an essential part of African American life, but also people of other backgrounds that identify with the music put out by musicians in the rap industry. So what I'm trying to say here is, so rap is also used by other cultures to sort of feel connected to people with similar struggles as them. So we probably heard Biggie talking about how he couldn't afford food for his daughter when he was very young. How Tupac was losing like brothers and like friends to gang violence and just stuff like that. So different cultures were able to use that and connect it to their own lives, sort of like inject lyrics into their own lives. So yeah, I think that rap is very unique and that it relates to the darkest part of people's lives. No other form of music, artwork, visual raps, or anything else can help people cope with the struggles of modern rap. Whether carried out with racial motives or plain ignorance, people believe rap was going to wash out eventually, and since the primary demographic of listeners were minorities, rap will seem inferior. So what I'm trying to get at here, um, so rap was on really on the rise at this time, like the early '90s, like throughout the '90s and early 2000s. And what I'm trying to shine light on this video about is the hip hop police, the hip hop cops, they used to call them. But they also dabbled in like rap, trying to stop rap. So what the hip hop police was a police task force in the '90s. It was created in the NYPD as a means to suppress the dominating rap culture that was on the rise. They felt that it really challenged the culture that already was there. So just to give you like context, at the time, rock was very popular. This was right after like the '60s and '70s, where a large like soul music was implemented and stuff like that. So rock, the police thought that it really challenged the culture that already existed. It was generally like white culture. So like white people used to listen to rap just because they thought it was like so interesting, and it gave a perspective that they would they would not be able to look through uh, elsewhere. Because yeah, it wasn't long before the police took action and pushed their efforts against stopping rap. Yeah. In 2004, a bombshell article highlighted the nuanced police thought rap was and further exposed the real motives of the authorities, referencing the rap police again. So, so this article was met with 50-50 like dislike opinions. So people did think that rap was very violent and sort of needed an end to it. But but people also agreed that rap was a tool to sort of share your emotions, and I think that's the majority opinion that most people in society really took on, because they didn't really see the discrimination and how it was necessary, even in something as simple as rap, where people thought that they had the freedom, like like the maximum amount of freedom they could do to just speak about like their daily lives and stuff like that. So some people see gangs and hip hop artists as being synonymous. That means that some people thought that gangs and hip hop artists were very intertwined, but I don't think that's the case. Um, Benjamin Davis said that, president and chief executive of the Hip Hop Summit Action Group. That's a mistake, he said. The recording industry is a legitimate American enterprise, not a gang. So I think so the police was trying to label rap as something very like barbaric, something very unorganized. Because as my peers had mentioned before, rap was started in like sort of like get-togethers. You'd hear rap like at a park where people are playing basketball and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just how rap started, and authorities believed that rap needed to go away because it was so barbaric. So yeah, so continuing with the hip hop police. Um, I think it was just sort of to target easy targets and try to link artists with murders at the time. Uh, they also, I find it funny how they went from monitoring people like Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and John Lennon to people like Tupac and Biggie. I think that further shows that the shift in culture and that the challenging different cultures sort of really was not, the authorities didn't want to accept that. They felt that it was like very challenging, to the culture at the time. So of course you have rap being manipulated by the media. So there was a study between rap and rock cultures, like the deaths involved. Because at the time, rock concert was like super duper violent, and I find it interesting how they were labeled as something normal and something that was just normal in rock concerts. But as soon as a person got stabbed or injured at a rap concert, it was like published in like the L.A. Times or like the New York Times. Just further shows that society wasn't accepting of rap culture. I think just because it was predominantly black people, and black people have always been labeled as like just things like that. That report was made by the University of Madison at Washington in 2018. So the first public exposure of the rap police was in 2004, where DMX shared that there indeed was a rap police, and how just he just sort of shared how they were monitoring him in different places. And I think that's pretty sad that not even a black artist is able to properly prosper in the United States society. That even people just seeing like what they're about is targeted by the police, and they just have to monitor everything that occurs. So why should we even care about the hip hop police? So if you care about like social justice, and sure probably care about this. But here I have the NYPD hip hop dossier. It's like a collaboration of all like the hip hop artists at the time that was created by the NYPD, and has a stamp of the New Jersey and New York drug trafficking departments. So they were trying to link rap artists with drug trafficking, which I think is insane. So here you have people like Jay Z, 50 Cent. So like the Rockefeller music group was really targeted. Here you have a description of the rap artists. You have a picture of them. Both sides it's sealed with state seals, Department of Drug Trafficking on both. It has their name, their photo number, the FBI number, like the case numbers, arrest dates if they ever had them, charge names, date of birth, place of birth, your social security number, which I think is crazy. That how do you go from rap artists just singing what they're about to the police monitoring and knowing even things like their social security number? You have their addresses, the amount of cars they have, who they're friends with, like who their parents are, who their kids are, who their friends are, their nicknames. I think that's just crazy. So what should you take away from this? I think sort of to be aware of how even black people are oppressed, even in things that don't seem like they should be related to race and stuff like that. I think it's pretty pathetic. I think moving on, we should definitely just expose things like this because it's pretty like disgusting. Like you can't even be black and be an artist and be just live life like how you always wanted to be and how you rap about without having a bunch of white people hating, or just people in general, society in general. Yeah.